Thank you for tuning in. It's part 2 of my small video series on maximizing your content. The first video, if you just watched it, we talked about blogging and really how to spider out your reach. And so the second video, I wanted to focus on the same topic of originality and authenticity, but through video content form. So just to give you a little bit information or background on what I do with video, I do have the capability to do full-on productions, full service productions, commercials. I have relationships with guys that have equipment and stuff, where I am positioning the strategy and really directing the production itself, where we focus on inevitably the purpose of the video, what the inevitable goal is, and your value, and obviously your ideal customer base or the target audience that you would like to attract and garner awareness for. But my main bread and butter is going to be my interview style sessions, where I really sit down with my clients and I talk to them about their business, their story, why they came to market, what they're doing differently, and how they're doing it. And before a lot of my sessions, we sit down and really put together a definitive process or a list of questions or topics that we want to hit on in order to piece a story together. One of my most recent clients that I wanted to talk a lot about for this video example, it's also in the blog. I have kind of the storytelling or storyboard, I guess, of one of their processes, or how we branched off one of their videos. But it's Green Zone Health and Fitness. They're in Glendale, Arizona. They have a really cool message. Their origin is legit. It's authentic. It is emotional, and they're not chasing revenue. They're not in the fitness industry to make money, to get subscribers, to get people to buy their meal plans. They're in it to change lives, and those are the clients that I value, that I love to work with, because they have a purpose. They take pride in what they do, and they're passionate and love every second of it. So I'm going to use their video strategy a little bit here to talk about how I piece that together and really how I execute this interview process. So what we did with them is, like I said before, is we kind of set up the ideas or the topics or points that we wanted to touch on, and we set up 2 or 3 settings that we wanted to film in. This was key because we needed to know what's in the background and what type of setting actually makes sense for each type of question. They do a lot of meal preparation. We didn't shoot a lot of food because I think that's a whole nother strategy in itself. But we did want to make sure that they were in a setting that was relevant to what they do, which is cook. So we did one of the settings in the kitchen, one of them was obviously in the gym, and then one was in the living room, and another was, I think, just a plain background with them on some stools, where we had some really solid lighting. And we also were outside. So I like to establish all those first because we need it to make sense. I want it to seem like somebody's actually walking, and it's not too scripted. It's they're sitting comfortable, it's engaging, it's welcoming, and that's a type of video content that I really believe in, because it speaks to the consumer in a genuine way. So as far as getting back to my topic now here, which is maximizing your video content, no matter what it is you're doing, whether it's a video ad on YouTube, whether it's a full TV commercial, 30 seconds to a minute, or one of these interviews that I'm doing, you can always use this same strategy. I think the initial thing you want to focus on is how big can you go for each video, or how long can you go for each video, what your budget is, and then kind of go down from there. So to use an example, so I can speed this video up so it's not as extensive here, let's say we're going to do an about video for my interview sessions, and I'm going to really tie in your brand story, and what made you take the leap, why did you take the leap, because that's 2 different things. How are you taking the leap, how are you doing it differently, what's your long-term, short-term goals, what's your core values as a business, and what's your competency, your experience. We're going to touch on all of those in your about video, and we're going to talk about it as much as we can in order to create that story in 1 minute, right? So once we produce that initial video, I think a lot of people like snippets anyways to position in different places, but we want to maximize that video and use that long form and publish it on your YouTube channel. If you want to do an ad, you can publish it as a blog. Obviously, publish it, upload it to social media channels, Vimeo, everywhere that you can, that full version. For Green Zone Fitness, we did a 2.5 minute about video. It ended up being 2.5 minutes, and we put it right there on their about page. There's not really a big need for us to be too specific on some of these channels because initially it's all about reach. We want to title that video generally, broadly, just like the blog strategy. About video, about Green Zone Health and Fitness. For this example, Ryan and Sarah's story, their why story. Title it something like that, just very basic. The second part that we want to do, which is something that I thought we really did well with Green Zone, is now break down that about video into, say, 5 pieces. That, initially, I think they started off with how they met. And then the next part of the video was, how they started preparing. Then another part of the video about how they were in corporate America and what they didn't like about that and why they wanted the freedom. Then the next part of the video was about their personal fitness journey, maybe a couple of things they struggle with or some things that happened in their life which were very emotional connections with their audience that caused them to want to make a difference. Then it's really how they're making that difference or what their vision is. And then the last part was kind of that differentiating factor of how they separate themselves from competition. And we really took that full about video and broke it down into segments just like that. We threw a title page on it with different music, and we scheduled those posts. So really what we did, long story short, with maximizing video content is, we're staying relevant and authentic. We're keeping it original. We're not scripting it. We're telling real stories. We're tying it into the audience. We're putting it into story form. We're publishing that story. We're breaking down every aspect of that story and then sharing it at certain times a day or on certain channels that part of the story will speak to somebody. Just like the blog strategy, not every about video is going to capture the attention of somebody, but if they know that it's vegan, or they know that how somebody's doing something differently and they're creating new recipes, or how maybe somebody struggled with depression in their initial story, or maybe it's fitness power couples in that aspect, we can create so many videos within that one video and push them out there as their own individual entity to capture the attention of people that aren't going to just generally be interested in a about fitness video. So that's really, in a nutshell, what my strategy is as far as spidering out and breaking down video content. I think at the end of the day, you have to have a good video that engages, that's purposeful. But even so, if it's done on your cell phone, if you're kind of on the go like what I'm doing right now, I can break this video down in 10 different ways and serve it on Instagram and potentially garner some attention or engagement because that piece of content within this larger piece of content speaks to somebody else. As always, everything's better with the pre-focus. Really think hard about the topics and the type of videos that you're promoting. Try not to be so salesy. Try to be as authentically you as you can. Don't oversell yourself, but show that genuinity that you care about your audience, that you're there to provide value, that you care about them. And at the end of the day, true fulfillment, at least in my opinion, is when you see the work that you put in impact somebody else or the lives of other people. That's truly what's fulfilling, not necessarily how much money you're making or how many conversions or sales you have. That's how you grow a business, that's how you sustain it, and that's how you create loyalty. Have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, info@prefocus.solutions, or check out my Instagram @theprefocus. I love what I do and look forward to helping you guys out. Have a great week.